Drew Brees, within the last half hour, posted a lengthy apology on Instagram. I will read it to you in its entirety. I would like to apologize to my friends, teammates, the city of New Orleans, the black community, NFL community, and anyone I hurt with my comments yesterday. In speaking with some of you, it breaks my heart to know the pain I've caused. In an attempt to talk about respect, unity, and solidarity centered around the American flag and the national anthem, I made comments that were insensitive and completely missed the mark on the issues we are facing right now as a country. They lacked awareness and any type of compassion or empathy. Instead, those words have become divisive and hurtful and have misled people into believing that somehow I'm an enemy. This could not be further from the truth and is not an accurate reflection of my heart or my character. This is where I stand. I stand with the black community in the fight against systemic racial injustice and police brutality and support the creation of real policy change that will make a difference. I condemn the years of oppression that have taken place throughout our black communities and still exists today. I acknowledge that we as Americans, including myself, have not done enough to fight for that equality or to truly understand the struggles and plight of the black community. I recognize that I am part of the solution and can be a leader for the black community in this movement. I will never know what it's like to be a black man or raise black children in America, but I will work every day to put myself in those shoes and fight for what is right. I've always been an ally, never an enemy. I'm sick about the way my comments were perceived yesterday, but I take full responsibility and accountability. I recognize that I should do less talking and more listening. And when the black community is talking about their pain, we all need to listen. For that, I am very sorry, and I ask your forgiveness. There was a great deal of reaction from across the world of football yesterday, and we played some of it earlier here, including comments from Malcolm Jenkins, who was a teammate of Drew Brees in New Orleans, Ed Reed, and many other football players, and people from well beyond the world of sports chimed in on this yesterday. I've got Dominique Foxworth ready with me this morning. So, Dominique, we talked a bit earlier this morning, and now Drew has released this apology that I just read here. What's your reaction?
Well, I mean, I'm glad he released the apology. I think we all expected that it was going to come, but I'm just like tired. And to be completely honest with you, when I first saw this Drew Brees story pop up yesterday, my brother texted me and to let me know, because I kind of turned off social media because I've been on this show and on all the shows on the network screaming with righteous indignation for the past several days. And today was supposed to be my day off. So I laughed a little bit because I felt like, man, y'all can't even give me a day off, because then I get a text from producers saying, hey, you want to come on tomorrow morning to talk about Drew Brees? And it's just, I just don't quite get how these coaches and players can't understand the moment and don't see a bigger moment, because it was less than 24 hours. I feel like we were all over Dabo and his coach down there using the N-word before Vic Fangio is like, watch me do this, and comes and says, there's no racism in the NFL. And then Drew Brees is like, no, I'm going to come over the top with respect the flag. And it's just outrageous to me. It's surprising, and it's kind of funny. I don't expect them to stop saying foolish things like this. Just ask them to spread it out a little bit so that I can get a day off and get a break from coming on here and yelling about how they are out of touch. And in Drew's comments, like, it seems like he is starting to get a better picture of this. But one of the interesting things that jumps out to me that's in a lot of these comments is, I don't know what it's like to be a black person. And I may never know, and I will never know what it's like to be a black person. Like, I'm wondering what it's like to be a white person. I don't know what that's like, but I don't know about what it feels like to have the opportunity to go through life with such aggressive ignorance, like deliberate ignorance, closing your eyes to things that are right in front of you that we have been screaming about for at least the last 4 years. Like, obviously it goes back longer than that, but in the football world, for at least the Kaepernick situation until now, it's been an intense conversation for all these people in football to seem to be completely out of touch with what's going on. Like, I can't explain it. I'm happy Drew's put the comment out. I think that the team will be fine going forward, because that's what tends to happen. But I do also find it kind of interesting that Drew didn't even let Fangio's comments of how there's no race issues in the NFL rest for 24 hours before he disproved it. He just slapped it down right away. So all of this is obviously not funny, but I'd be lying if I say I didn't laugh a little bit when my brother texted me with a link to Drew's comments, and all he wrote was, they done it again. And I wasn't surprised. I got a chuckle, but I'm here this morning to talk about it, and I hope Drew can grow from it. And I do hope that he puts some specifics behind the things that he wants to do, because he said, I believe he used the word legislation that he's going to work towards. Like, let's be specific about it and be specific about the things that you have issue with and specific about the solutions that you're going to advocate for.
Yeah, I see. He said, "I recognize I am part of the solution and can be a leader for the black community in this movement." Let me just ask you. You said you believe the team will be fine. If you were a teammate of Drew Brees, what would you want to say to him privately? And what would you want to say to him? And what would you need him to say to you?
No, so Drew and I go back a long way. I've known him since I was 18. He hosted me on my visit to Purdue, which I ended up not going there, obviously, and we worked closely together for many years in NFLPA. So, like, I think that Drew comes across as a very genuine person, but I think that when you have a relationship with somebody, a previous relationship, as many of those guys do, I think that you're more likely to extend them some leniency. And like when I see people that I know saying something outrageous, people at this network and just friends, I'm more likely to extend them some leniency because I know them. And I think that his teammates will probably do that. He'll probably deliver in their team meeting today. He'll probably deliver some impassioned speech about how he is sorry, and they'll forgive him and they'll go on to work together. I don't know that it's going to impact the way that they work on the field together. I do, however, think that it's going to be a burden for Drew all season long. And I'm certainly not crying for Drew. Like, burden is an interesting word because obviously the black community has been holding on to a burden for quite some time. But I think there is going to be an emotional tax on him all season when every city he goes to, including his own. People are not all going to forgive him because not everyone has this relationship with him. And he has a history of other issues like this or other issues that other things that people can take issue with. So I think that the reaction to Drew Brees is not going to go away just with this apology. Though I think they'll be fine in their locker room. They'll figure it out. They'll work together because that's what most people do at their workplace. They figure out a way to work with people that they don't always agree with. And if they like the person, and Drew is a likable person, I'm sure most of his teammates liked him before this day, so they're likely to extend him some leniency.